So it was not an easy day at all for Jim Tracy. 5 years the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. In 2006, 2007, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. First pitch of the ball game from Jason Marquis. Misses down low, ball one on Brian Giles. Marquis at 6-3. Not only leads the Rockies in wins, he's among the National League leaders in wins so far in 2009. And that pitch is in there for a strike. It is 1-1. So the Rockies match up with a Padres team that has surprised everybody over the last couple of weeks. They've been the hottest team in baseball. That's in there for a strike also, 1-2. George, they won 10 in a row for Bud Black, who I don't think he liked that strike call very much from Jerry Lane. 11 of their last 12, despite not hitting a lick.
They haven't hit a lick. They've hit a .190 as a ball club, but boy, have they pitched well, particularly the bullpen. An 0.47 earned run average over that span. And again, you're talking about some guys coming through in situations and getting hits when you need to. Think about this. They win over that span 5 games 2-1. Think about that. So that tells you bullpen held lead. Starters got you there. They got one timely hitter, a couple of timely hits, and it's all been surrounded by the big first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez, who leads the major leagues with 18 home runs. I'll bet 13 of those away from a very difficult park to hit in. Petco.
And Brian Giles is starting to swing the bat better. He has a base hit. Dexter Fowler fires it back in. So Giles, a leadoff base hit. David Eckstein will come up. Our Southwest batting order for San Diego. Eckstein will be followed by Scott Hairston. And then Adrian Gonzalez, 18 home runs. Amazing that a guy that plays his home games at Petco can lead the league in home runs right now. He's on pace to hit 62. Then Kevin Kuzminoff and Nick Hundley with Colorado ties. Tony Gwynn came over last week from Milwaukee. Chris Burke and Chris Young. So here's Eckstein.
Stands right on top of the plate, chokes up a couple of inches. In a perfect spot in your batting order, the 2-hole where he can hit the ball behind the runners, obviously hit and run situation.
Helton holding Giles. Giles a good base runner, not a big stolen base threat. Used to steal a little bit. That pitch misses. 1-1 on Eckstein. On Wednesday, San Diego finished their road series against the Diamondbacks by winning 8-5. Jake Peavy got the win. A 10-game winning streak, the best in the National League this year.
There's that inside-out swing just discussed, how he tries to take the ball, take advantage of the hole in the middle of the infield, or to the right side of the infield, I should say.
Look at this graphic. We're talking about the hottest team in baseball. Padres, Yankees have played great of late. The Dodgers, Rockies know how well they've played. Tigers, the Rockies just played them. The 2 of the 3 losses for the Tigers over the last 13 ball games handed to them by the Rockies.
Well, since the 15th of May, and I mentioned the bullpen ERA, just 2 earned runs in 38 innings.
That's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
And you rarely see what you just saw there. David Eckstein, one of the most difficult men in the National League to strike out. A punch-out victim. Marquis looked like a hard sinker down and in.
And it was. It looked slider, then he come back that hard sinker. As you look at the Fidelity scouting report, look for the fastball in. Just what you witnessed on David Eckstein's fastball slider down and away will show a changeup down in the strike zone. Marquis in his career versus the Padres has a 4-3 record, 9 games, 8 starts over that span.
So here's Scott Hairston, who has always torn up the Rockies. And he takes outside ball 1. Hairston had a good series down in Arizona, 5 for 14. Surprisingly, he's only seen Jason Marquis 3 times, 1 for 3. He's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 road games. This is fouled off out of play down the right field line. I know with the news today of Clint Hurdle being replaced by Jim Tracy, one of the real odd things for the players is to hear a different voice. Also for the folks that cover the Rockies on a day-to-day basis, us included, not to see Clint in the dugout at 4:45 every day is going to be real strange.
Well, it is. I mean, it's just a whole different type of makeup that you're going to see now with Jim Tracy versus Clint Hurdle. And I think, you know, with Tracy's resume, 562 wins, 572 losses in his career. He's been won a pennant with the Los Angeles Dodgers, division title, I should say, with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
2 balls and a strike on Hairston.
And really the thing about it, everybody kept asking Jim in the press conference today, oh, how are you going to manage differently? Well, you can only manage what gets presented to you. If there's a guy on first, yeah, maybe I can hit and run if it's the right guy. You know, I can only bunt when I need to, move a guy over, do what you've got to do to manage. It's not like he has some magic wand that's going to change what's going on or how it's going to go. The players have to change that.
Yeah, bottom line is the players have to play better. And other than a handful of players, everyone on this roster is underachieved, save, not pointing fingers, save Todd Helton, obviously, Brad Hopp. The kid in center field's done a nice job. He's a 23-year-old rookie. Jason Marquis has been outstanding.
Houston Street's done a nice job. Yep.
Most everyone else has underachieved to varying levels. They'd be the first to say that.
Well, I think, you know, one of the things that players can step back, and I was guilty of it. Jeff Houston's been guilty of it. It's easy to look for an excuse instead of looking in the mirror. You're looking all around that mirror. And we've all been guilty of that.
Three and two on Hairston with Giles at first, 1 out. Swung on and missed. So Marquis with a slider strikes out Hairston after getting Eckstein with a super sinker.
And he's one of the guys in the lineup that you don't want to allow to beat you. And it's a hard breakdown, straight down on the bottom half of the strike zone, and he couldn't handle it.
Here's how the Rockies are set defensively tonight. Seth Smith's in left field. Dexter Fowler in center. Ryan Spilborgh's for Brad Hopp in right field. Garrett Atkins, Troy Tulowitzki, Clint Varmus, Todd Helton, and Yorvi Torrealba. Brad Hopp is pretty much ready to go. They're just giving him one more day. He is available to pinch hit. He pinch hit on Wednesday in what was a furious comeback for the Rockies that fell short in the 9th inning. Adrian Gonzalez takes a strike. Look at those numbers. .285 average, 18 home runs. He's driven in 34. Adrian 4 for 10 against Jason Marquis. I asked him earlier, I said, is this the best you've ever swung the bat? And he said no. He said, you know, I'm just hitting some home runs. He said, but you know, I'm still battling certain things. And he did have a little bit of a funk in his last period of time at home. And he said, you know, there are some balls you hit at home and you hit them well and they die in somebody's glove. So instead of maybe a 6 for 18 homestand, you go 4 for 18. It's, you know, one's in the 220s, the other's 333.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something he's had to fight through. Look and see if they're going to try to jam him here on an 0-2 count in off of the plate. Dangerous area for sinker ball pitchers to try to run the ball in, and has a tendency to run back to the middle of the plate. You really got to get on top of it and drive it to that area of home plate, and it ends up being a pretty hittable pitch. Well, like being an all-star and the Padres being down, other than Giles, I mean, big marketing guys, Jake Peavy obviously is one of those guys, but from the offensive side of things, they have a lot of unknown players.
Sliders low, good pitch though, location-wise. Adrian Gonzalez just didn't bite. Adrian, the last 3 years, pretty steady. Right down 30 home runs and 100+ RBIs. Last year's 36 home runs, a career high, and he's already halfway there this year in about a quarter of the season, slightly more now. Again, on pace to hit 62 home runs. Now runs full, 3 and 2.
Yeah, but see, that really doesn't bother you, because this is the guy really in this lineup that you're not going to allow to beat you. You know, if you give him first base and even move Giles down to second, to have the confidence to go after Kuzminoff, who's in the on-deck circle, and use your pitches to get out of that. You don't want to fall behind 2-0 on a mistake pitch somewhere in the zone. Yeah, I know that I like the idea of the unknowns. Players, a lot of them with the San Diego Padres, because you play with a chip on your shoulder to become known.
That's a good point, George. Here's the 3-2, and it is a little bit low, so Giles to second. And Gonzalez to first, and that'll bring up Kevin Kuzminoff when we check our Burt Auto keys to the game. George, what do you got?
Well, I think you look at it, first day after Clint Hurdle. I mean, here it is. He's fired this morning, and Jim Tracy's in there. So how are they going to react to Jim Tracy being on the helm, or the hot seat, not the hot seat, but the helm of running this ball club? And Jason Marquis, I think it's a good choice to have him on the hill today versus one of the younger guys. It's a veteran guy that can assume some of that pressure to go out and give you a well-pitched ball game.
Then also, George, I like that point.
You like that point?
No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, you're right. If you could choose one guy to go out there, it'd be a Cook or Jason Marquis. Here's Kuzminoff with 2 men on and 2 men out. And he takes ball 1. Here's the 1-0 to Kevin, and it's on the ground, deep short, and a nice play. Cutting that ball off up the middle by Troy Tulowitzki. The flip to Clint Barmes. So Marquis gets Kuzminoff, leaves 2 men on. The Colorado Rockies. You look at Clint's record, 562, excuse me, that's Jim's record, 562 wins, 572 losses. Dexter Fowler will lead it off. Clint Barmes in the 2-hole. Todd Helton third. Garrett Atkins, who's been slumping, back in the cleanup spot. Seth Smith, who's done a great job getting on base, particularly off the bench. He'll be in the 5-hole tonight. Ryan Spilborg's next. Then Troy Tulowitzki, Yorvi Torrealba, and Jason Marquis. Hopefully that's the winning combination against 6'10" Chris Young out of Princeton. And the first pitch to Fowler is at the top of the strike zone. And it's an 0-1 count on Dexter.
Yeah, well, you're going to see him work in this game. You're going to very rarely see him down in the strike zone. He's a guy that's not going to blow you away with a lot of velocity. It's going to be 85, 88. But because of the location of the pitches, and what I mean by this, folks, he's going to try to work here and up and get you to chase everything. If he goes into the ground, typically going to be that, a hard slider, a curveball at 76 miles an hour, and it's going to be down into the zone. It's such an adjustment for a hitter to face a guy 6'10", 6'11". It's just the angles that they present, how the ball comes out of their hand, those type of things. It makes you want to swing at that pitch at 85, but realistically, it's tough to get to that pitch at 85.
Now, the Rockies beat them up on April 27th here. They scored 8 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings against Young. He didn't help himself by walking 5. That changeup missed badly. He levels the count at 2-2. That's the worst I've ever seen Chris Young pitch. I mean, he's normally lights out.
He is normally lights out, and at Coors Field, the thing about his, folks, 3 wins against the Rockies, or 4 wins against the Rockies in his career, 3 have come at Coors Field. 3 and 4 at Coors with an earned run average at about 4.5.
Now, he's pitched better lately. He's won his last 2 starts. He beat the Cubs in his last outing, 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs. This ball pulled toward Gonzalez, who's got such a great glove and a nice feed to Chris Young. Scored 3-1. Clint Barmes will be coming up. Here's the Fidelity scouting report on the Princetonian.
Well, we just talked about the fastball, 86 to 91. It's more 85 to 88, really, was where he'll sit and touch 91 when he really wants to get after it. He'll give you the slider down below. Fastballs are all going to be up high into the strike zone. You're not going to see much down in the zone at all. Try to get you a lot of fly balls and work under where you're not catching a lot of grain of the bat on the baseball.
And the first pitch to Clint Barmes misses. So Jim Tracy, who's originally from Hamilton, Ohio, takes over. He still lives outside of Pittsburgh, where he was managing till the end of the 07 season. New management came in, new ownership came in, and Trace was removed from his job there. A lot of success with the Dodgers, third, second, first, and then finished 4th in his final year as a manager of the Dodgers. This ball's punched to right field. Giles will have it easily. 2 outs. A little more on Jim Tracy. He went to a small college, Marietta College, which is a really good Division III baseball school, and he was drafted back when they used to have the January draft. George, remember that? He was drafted in the 4th round in 1977 by the Cubs.
He could always hit. It's one thing, and he knew that he was going to have to hit because his arm's a little short. Speed was not as what you thought it would be, but he could always hit. That's what got him to the big leagues for the short time he was there.
Yeah, reached the big leagues in a Cubs uniform. He got 87 ball games, 185 at bats, hit 249 in the big leagues with 3 home runs, 14 driven in. But he's been in baseball for 32 years, professional baseball for 32 years. And what you are going to learn about Jim Tracy, and I always felt this, George, when we would visit with him on a regular basis when he was the manager of the Dodgers, you get to know the managers of the opposition within your division. You play him so many times. Jim Tracy is a really good guy.
Well, he's a good baseball man. I mean, he's been around it forever, actually, and I'm pretty sure I got this right. Bill Guyvette, who works underneath Dan O'Dowd as the assistant general manager, was one of the first times he hired Jim Tracy as a minor league manager in the Montreal Expos organization. So there's a tie to the Rockies and Jim Tracy, and what he had done here is Bill Guyvette's known him an awful long time.
Helton lines it. Kuzminoff slides over and gloves it. So a 1-2-3 start for Chris Young. 1 inning in the books on a Friday night at Coors Field. No score. Rockies head out on the road. They're taking on the Padres for 3. Time for our Mike Shaw Auto Update with Alana Rizzo. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Drew, thanks very much. Wanted to talk to you a little bit more about what Ian Stewart and I talked about earlier about how this does not become a distraction, especially for the younger guys. I mean, there are some veterans on this team, and Todd Helton, Brad Hott, Jorvit Torriella, but a lot of guys have obviously never been through a manager change before. He said the only thing we can do is go out there and prepare as best as we can. He said the bottom line is we still have a job to do. It's a job we are getting paid for. I said, what about it being a distraction? He said it was more of a distraction not knowing what was going to happen, having this hanging over our head and wondering if is he going to get fired, is he not going to get fired. So now that that's over, they have some closure on this, and now they just have to play ball, guys.
And I think the first time it happens, Alana, thank you, George, you went through this. The first time as a player, just like the first time you get traded, it's got to be a bit of a shock. Here's a tough chance for Atkins. He got him at first. Close play. Nick Huntley runs pretty well. Former football player whose dad's still a coach. Bang, bang play at first, but Tony Randazzo indicates that Atkins got him. George, to the topic that Alana brought up.
Yeah, you know what? I went through a lot of firings, particularly in New York and St. Louis, where Whitey Herzog. Kenny Boyer was a great guy. Always a Cardinal. Won. Great third baseman, obviously, during the World Series, 64 all the times that he was there. When they fired Kenny and brought in Whitey Herzog, base hit back up the middle by Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yeah, little Tony.
That, it's first time, the first day, it's like shock. They really did it? Then the next level came to me as a player at that time. I wonder if I'm next. Are they going to send me to AAA if I don't do my job? Am I going to get traded? What's going to happen next with the ball club? If they'll fire the manager, then they'll get rid of players. So, I mean, yeah, there's things like that, that it kind of put a little fear factor in me. I had it anyway. Fear was a great driving force for me, and I think it should be for a lot of players. Because it's a whole lot of fun playing up here. It's not a lot of fun playing in AAA and AA and A-ball and riding on buses and bad air ride, bad hotels. It's pretty nice up here. And that fear of losing that played a huge role for me as a player. And I think when players get comfortable is when you've got to reinstall the fear.
I've heard you say that before. 0-1 on Chris Burke. There goes Gwynn. It's a hit and run. Tulowitzki has got to go to first. And he gets Burke. A little juggling act, but Troy got his man. Troy, by the way, leads all National League shortstops in fielding percentage. I know he has not hit up to his capability so far, but that has not affected his defense. George.
No, it sure hadn't. He circles this ball perfectly, juggled a little bit, gets a hold of the baseball, and with that arm strength, he can make up a lot of ground on even fastest runners in the game.
So Chris Young at the plate. There's the National League leaders in fielding percentage. Jimmy Rollins owns a Gold Glove. And one day this man will, or several. In fact, we're biased, but I thought he should have won a Gold Glove his rookie year, George.
Yeah, no question about it. He led all of the National League in fielding percentage. What did he make, 11 errors or 9? Something like that. Is ridiculous.
And he gets to so many baseballs.
He gets to a lot more baseballs, and he creates opportunities to make errors because he gets there.
Yeah, he always leads, or is among the league leaders in chances, and that's not just, oh man, they hit a lot of ground balls at the Rocky shortstop. That has a lot to do with range factor.
Well, the guy at the plate right now, Chris Young's not just your average hitting pitcher. He can swing the bat a little bit. He's hit 333 right now with a couple of RBIs. So with 6 hits, you got to pitch carefully with him and not get something up in the strike zone.
But you know what he has, George? A big strike zone.
He does have a big strike zone, but you don't get away with the low strike. You can get away with the high strike. His knees are to like most people's waist.
Mine. Or is that my chest?
Stop it.
All right. 1 ball, 1 strike on Young. See, he didn't need to swing it, though. That was below his knees, George.
Yeah, there you go.
Tony Gwynn is at second. He had a 1-out base hit. Jason Marquis trying to go to 7-3. And this is a swinging bunt that goes foul, thankfully. I'll tell you what, even with the big man, Chris Young, running, had that stayed in fair territory, he was going to be safe.
A pretty good chance of it because he runs well. He's a very good athlete. You've mentioned the opportunities in the NBA and in playing college basketball. In his long strides, it may not look like he's going anywhere, but he's going a whole lot of places. I mean, that's getting some ground eaten up in a hurry. See, I like that. Little thing there. You didn't notice it, did you?
Yeah, I did.
What?
Torrialba didn't pick up his bat for him.
Exactly. A lot of guys will pick it up standing on home plate. They don't have to bend over and do that thing.
Wants the pitcher to do as much work as possible.
Absolutely. You bet.
Set up away. Slaughter is away, and it's 2-2. Now, if it was a fellow catcher, he'd have the bat out there.
Well, sometimes they pick that up a little bit and help him through it. Just little bitty things you watch during the course of a game.
3-2. And Marquis was upset with that one. You know, the slider, he was trying to get a swing and miss. That pitch, he was trying to get on the outside corner. He missed.
Well, I mean, he is the pitcher. I know he's a good hitting pitcher, and I know there's a runner out at second. He's got decent speed, but he is the pitcher. You get frustrated with yourself. You worked yourself to a 3-2 count, add more pressure to throw the strike now.
He got him. So Marquis strikes out Young, his third strikeout of the ball game. Gwynn is left at second base. No score. Garrett Atkins will lead it off, followed by Seth Smith and then Ryan Spilborghs. Rockies fans, go to FSNinsider.com and check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. Pick a team to win and see how long your streak can go. We do this every week. We started it a week ago. Back upstairs with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Now, the three categories tonight, we'll tell you before you get online and do that. Who wins this baseball game? And I think, well, we're always going to take the Rockies. That's a no-brainer. Who wins the Nuggets and Lakers tonight? I'm going to take the Nuggets in Game 6.
You're such a front runner. You just told me the Lakers before we went on air. How can you even say that?
George is taking
Holy
the Lakers.
cow.
George is taking the Lakers, obviously.
Not really. Go ahead.
We'll both,
I like Anderson's hair.
Okay, we'll both take the Nuggets tonight. And the other one who has more hits at the end of the night, the Nuggets. The better not be. The Rockies or the Padres. And
I'm going to actually say that the Padres may end up with more hits, but the Rockies will win the game.
I'm actually going to say the Rockies are going to have more hits because the Padres, and I know they've out-hit them so far 2-0 in this game. The Padres offense really is, not that the Rockies offense has been great. It hasn't been. It's been bad.
Can't believe you took the Nuggets.
But I'm going to say the Rockies are going to out-hit the Padres.
We're Nuggets all the way.
This ball is gloved by Kuzminoff. Wow, that was a more difficult play than the line drive by Helton earlier. That one was a very fine play.
A great play by him because he goes over to get the baseball and he's got to step quick to it and he's got to extend the body out to make the catch on it and able to make it.
Well, appropriate now that we would check the Padres defensively. Hairston, Gwynn, and Giles in the outfield. Kuzminov, folks, has not made an error this year. The only big league third baseman who plays every day without an error. And you see why. Chris Burke, David Eckstein hasn't made an error. Only second baseman in the National League who can make that boast. Adrian Gonzalez is a Gold Glove caliber first baseman. There's the fielding percentage among National League third basemen. And behind the plate, Nick Hundley. So one of the reasons they've been able to rattle off 11 of 12 Rays, yeah, the pitching's been phenomenal, and they're an unbelievable team at Petco. But they play good defense.
Play excellent defense. That's the one thing they do. And again, it's back to the old adage of baseball. If you can throw it and you can catch it, you're going to win a lot of your baseball games, and that's exactly what they're doing. Particularly that 6th, 7th, and 8th innings, and then you hand it to Heath Bell at the backside of the bullpen, who's only given up 1 run all year long.
It seems like we're always talking about staying away from some big guy in the 9th inning. The last couple days we were talking about the Dodgers having to stay away from Jonathan Broxton. Here it's Heath Bell. That misses, and here's your walk leader on the Rockies, despite the fact that Seth Smith doesn't play every day. He has 22 free passes. Gives you an idea, he has a pretty good eye. The Rockies score 7 or more runs during this ball game or any other this year. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6 the following day and get 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a drink. Now that's a steal. So the Rockies have their first base runner. Ryan Spilborgh's up. Spilly had a good day on Wednesday. A couple of hits, including a home run. His 4th of the year, which at the time, with a man aboard, gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead that they would hold till the 7th inning. Rockies beginning play today, 10 games beneath 500. First time this year they have been that far under. You know, George, in football, they say he has good functional football speed with some guys, or they'll say he carries his pads well. And the reason I'm trying to make an analogy here is that Seth Smith runs better than you think he does.
Well, I think he runs really good first to third, second to home versus a straight base stealer. I think once he gets the motor started, it runs pretty good.
2-0 on Spilborghs. Is this a guy game plan wise you want to wait out a little bit? Certainly based on his last
you know, I mean,
appearance here.
Again, when Don Baylor managed here, Buddy Bell managed here, and I think when Clint Hurdle had the hitters that managed here at that time, you want to have a lot of 2-0, 3-1, build up pitch counts, try to be patient, make him throw strikes into the zone. And I think that's something that's been an emphasis of Don Baylor. I know when Joe Torre came here, that's one of the big things he wanted with the Dodgers. That's why their games are going 320 all the time, because he really wants to step out, take the time, break the rhythm of a starting pitcher or relief pitcher, break up his rhythm, take your time of what you do. And Bud Black is trying to accomplish those same type of things with Jim Lefevre, his hitting coach. Baylor's trying to instill that here.
There goes Smith. He got a huge jump. Looked like a hit and run was on. And Spilborghs kept the hands back, George, and was able to get that ball in play. So Smith with 2 outs in scoring position for Troy Tulowitzki.
Well, the hard part about this swing with Ryan Spilborghs, most hit and runs, you're trying to go to the right side. And that's what you want to do with the baseball. You see, talking to Glenn Allen Hill, watch where this pitch is. Freeze out front on contact, if you would, please. See how he had to elevate his body up because the pitch was up here. You know, and then when he got that far out on the front foot, he had to go to the left side of the infield with it, which kind of played right into the hands of the defense that the Padres had put out.
Off-speed pitch. That or the BP fastball.
Well,
George.
I think it was a BP fastball, but it was a sinker. If you looked at the move on the last part of the ball, it really dove and came back to the middle of the plate. It wasn't where Hundley wanted to pitch, but it was a pitch because it was so far away. The result was a no swing.
One thing I've noticed about Chris Young in this game and the other time the Rockies saw him, you know, we always talk about pitching up in the zone, and his fastball 88 to 90. Looks like it's 95 to 100, at least the swings and misses. But George, he's been more 84 to 86.
Yeah, he's just
this
trying
year.
to. I think he's creating movement on it, and I think a lot of it too. The injuries that he went through a year ago, trying to get back from all of those times that he was on a disabled list. And again, you know, one of them obviously when Albert Pujols hit him in the face, fractured it. I mean, that's going to put you out for a while. And then later on, returned back with a tight right forearm, strained his forearm. So I think coming back from some of those things, maybe pitching with a little less, having better command of what he has.
46-30 in his big league career. Here's the 2-1 on Troy.
There's a lot of things that's deceiving to a hitter when he brings the ball to the plate. When you watch his delivery and you see it at his height, he really tilts his shoulders back, but he throws his glove out at you coming to home plate, and then all of a sudden the ball appears out over the top of the glove, a little bit like a Jim Palmer high leg kick, glove kicked out at you. So he wants his glove come up. See a big swing of the arm out, sometimes to distract a lot of times the hitters.
So Tulowitzki walks, 2 walks in the inning, 2 on for Yorvi Torrealba. If your windshield is chipped or cracked, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit them online at safelite.com. Smith at second, Tulowitzki at first. And Yorvi at the plate. Chris Iannetta moving around pretty well. He's on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, giving Yorvi an opportunity to play on a very regular basis. Paul Phillips started on Wednesday. By the way, a couple of other changes within the Rockies organization. Stu Cole with Tommy Reynolds, the manager of Colorado Springs, moving up to the big league club as the bench coach. Stu Cole is going to move from Tulsa, where he was the manager, to Colorado Springs, become the manager there. That's a strike. And it's 0-2. And Ron Gideon has been in the organization for a while. George Roving is going to take over for Stu Cole.
Well, he was the field coordinator, so in other words, he oversaw everything that happened on the field at the minor leagues. He was over the top of, like, you know, the Bo McLaughlin pitching coach, Jimmy Johnson, the hitting coordinator, all of those guys, plus managers and pitching coaches, that he was in charge of that. And to make sure that each ball club's doing what they're supposed to be doing. He's managed at the minor league level before, so it gives him an opportunity to go back. He was 5'10" and 563 as a minor league manager. He's managed in Salem, Asheville, Portland in his career. Spent 10 seasons with the Mets organization, 5 as a player. Wow, that was a little short.
You think?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's like playing on the 54-foot field. His professional playing career began in '84 when the Phillies made him their first selection in the secondary phase of the June draft.
So Yorvi owns a home run against Chris Young. 2-2, 2 outs. And that's a good piece of hitting there. That pitch was going to cover the outside corner. And you can see Yorvi just double checking with Jerry Lane to make sure he did swing at a strike.
And it was a strike. I mean, it's on the outer half of the plate, but that's where Young's trying to keep it out of the power side of things.
Here's Jerry Lane. He's the crew chief. Tony Randazzo at first, Chris Cuccioni's at second, and Todd Tishner is at third base. And this is back up the middle for a base hit. Here comes Seth Smith to the plate. And going to third is Tulowitzki. The Rockies up 1-0 on their first hit of the ball game. Yorvi Torrealba coming through. Now he's been struggling with the bat. That has to feel real good.
No, it really does. On a fastball that was up into the strike zone, and you can see where the location of this pitch is. I mean, you're talking about chest high, and he just took advantage of it. That's where Young likes to work. But again, the velocity, Drew mentioned a minute ago, has been in the lower to mid 80s, and it has been in the upper 80s. And allowed Torrealba to take the ball right back up the middle and put the Rockies on board.
Well, that's a good sign. The Rockies, when they do score first, 15-4. Jason Marquis at the plate. If you follow the Rockies, if you followed baseball, you know Marquis can handle the bat. He's driven in 3 this year, a very respectable .235 average. And he loves to hit, loves to compete. There goes Torrealba, and this is driven to center field. Gwynn is right there, though. The ball was hit pretty well. In the inning, a couple of walks, and then a base hit from Torrealba. It's 1-0 Rockies.
Yeah, 14, 15 years I've known him. I've been through some good times and some bad times with him, and I didn't think I'd be as emotional as I was when I talked to him. But he's done a lot for this organization, for the city. He's done a lot. He's been a good manager. He's taken this team to places that we've never been before.
And you know what? You could hear the emotion still in Todd's voice when he met with members of the media before batting practice this afternoon. Again, if you're just joining us, Clint Hurdle removed this morning as manager of the Colorado Rockies. Jim Tracy taking over. It is not an interim tag. Tracy's the manager at the very least through the remainder of the 2009 season. Brian Giles had a base hit leading off the baseball game. He'll hit here in the leadoff spot in the third inning. And the first pitch is in there for a strike from Jason Marquis. Marquis, first time through the order, gave up 2 hits, walked a man, struck out 3. And he got 3 ground ball outs, which is what he normally does. Barmes scoots over, good communication with Pelton. The reason I said that, George, is Todd was going to get that baseball, and we can't hear it, but Clint obviously called him off because immediately Todd all of a sudden made a right-hand turn, or a left-hand turn, as this case,
knowing
to get to the bag.
Knowing where the defense is, too, he realized that Barmes was playing a little bit over in the hole, because what's happened to Giles, he's starting to cheat on the fastball a little bit. He's pulling everything to the right side. That's where a lot of his base hits have come. I know he had one opposite field, but that was on a pitch up and in. Typically, he's going to pull the ball. So Barmes was over. Todd realizing where the defense was set up, and the verbal commitment by Barmes made the play look pretty easy.
That pitch misses to David Eckstein. David Eckstein struck out in his first at bat. 3rd toughest man in the National League to strike out. And it's 2-0. Miguel Tejada has been the toughest guy to strike out this year in the National League. And George, let me see what kind of memory you have from last year. Who was one of the guys who was one of the toughest guys to strike out in the National League last year?
See, I would always say Juan Pierre, but because he's pretty difficult to strike out too.
Juan,
but he didn't play every day.
Juan doesn't have enough plate appearances, or he'd be on this list. You're going back to 2000. He is one of the toughest. Well, see, they gave it away, George. They threw this graphic up for you.
Well, I was going to say Yadier Molina with Cardinals.
Well, then you're right again.
I thought maybe it might have been Molina Benji, but
Benji last year was.
He was pretty good too.
But Yadier was on the list also. So a 4-pitch walk to Eckstein. That'll bring up Scott Hairston. Time for our Geico quote of the day from Tommy Lasorda. Always give an autograph when somebody asks you. You never can tell. In baseball, anything can happen. What's the correlation there, George?
Well, you know, you never know. You might beat somebody to give you a free dinner. Tommy is the connoisseur of every restaurant in America, folks. If it's food, he's there and likes it. He's a good man.
Talk about a guy that eats, breathes, and sleeps not only baseball, but in particular Dodger baseball. Hairston struck out his first time. He was 4th on that list. Had they shown one more player on that list, toughest to strike out, the guy who just left, James Loney. And you know who's 6th on the list, George? And I promise you, this will be the last person I mention on hardest to strike out.
Who is it?
Albert Pujols.
Well, see, that doesn't surprise me.
Is that scary, though?
Yeah, I mean, who was it that just played him that said, you know what, I think it was Bruce Bochy, said, you know what, I'm going to give him the Bonds treatment. I'm not going to go pitch to him. And why should you?
Why should you? Other than the folks in the stands, especially at Busch, want to see him pitch too. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Hairston.
Hey, behind the scene tours of Coors Field. Matter of fact, there was one going on today. It was kind of neat down in the press box. Went down and said hi to all the folks. Had a young group in here from New Jersey. About 60 kids came around and watched or looked all over the ballpark. Had a great chance to do that and enjoyed it. Watching the ball game tonight.
Fraser, you want to know why before you finish that?
303 Rockies.
The reason they were here from Jersey is cheaper for them to fly out here than go to Yankee Stadium and get the tour.
You're probably right.
But 1 and 2.
Wow, did you see
Runner
that?
going, throw to second,
shot.
And Eckstein has stolen the base, but Hairston is gone at the plate.
I don't know if you really, if you saw this, Eckstein, and I'm not sure that's his 2nd stolen base of the season. But when you look at his jump over at first base, it's unbelievable. I mean, look at this. Watch his jump. He's like running, and he's like, oh, should I really go or should I not go? Or what should I do?
This is
a great job by Toriyama. The ball actually got there pretty quick.
I'm telling you, that you know how big a jump that was? Yorvik could have taken the handoff from Marquis and not thrown him out at second base from right behind the pitcher's mound. Adrian Gonzalez with a runner in scoring position. The Rockies up 1-0. That's in there for a strike. Now, Marquis pitched around Gonzalez, even though he got ahead of him 0-2. He's very careful with Gonzalez. With 2 runners in, with a runner in scoring position in the first inning. He ended up walking him, and then he got Kuzman off the ground out. See how he works him here. They want to come inside 0-1, and boy, he's got to have that pitch, doesn't he?
Well, you'd think so. You better get it. And that is a great sinker in a great location. The only thing I think that it spin back too much of the plate. Yeah, see, it is off the plate. Remember, folks, our cameras are a little bit offline at center field. They're not directly behind home plate. That overhead view gives you a really good shot of where pitches actually are, what Jerry Lane saw, and that's why it's called a ball.
2 balls and a strike on Gonzalez. Adrian, former first pick in the entire draft, playing in his hometown. Playing with his brother Edgar, not in the lineup tonight. Hit a couple of home runs down at Chase Field. You know what? I think Marquis is pretty much established. And this doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. The one guy he's not going to let beat him is Gonzalez.
Well, that's the one guy in the lineup that's going to beat you in a lot of different ways other than just a base hit. He can leave it out of the yard, too. I mean, that's, that's the big scary part of it.
And they're going to go ahead and put him on first base open.
Why not?
Yeah. So again, Kuzminoff will come up with 2 men on. Kevin hit a sharp ground ball up the middle, and Troy Tulowitzki gloved it. Flipped backhand to Clint Barmes for the force to end the threat. So Marquis is set, and that pitch to Kuzminoff is down low. Kevin below 200 with runners in scoring position. The Padres in second place. They're chasing the Dodgers like everybody else. They're 24 and 23. They're the only other team above 500 in the division other than LA. And a ground ball to second. Barnes backpedals and sidearm flip to help. Well done by Marquis. Passed on Gonzalez, no problem. As he gets Kevin Kuzman off. 1-0 Colorado. Ariza, thank you, George.
The second one.
Thank you, buddy. That's good color.
That's good.
That's good. Rockies leading 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. This date in history is brought to you by Dex. Dex knows. May 29th, 1990, Ricky Henderson of the Oakland A's became the American League's all-time stolen base king by stealing number 893 as he surpassed the long-standing record set by Ty Cobb. Here's Dexter Fowler, who can run a bit. He takes ball one from Chris Young. Dexter hit it sharply his first time up, just to the right of Adrian Gonzalez, was able to reach down and pick it up and then flip to Chris Young covering the base. That's in there for a strike. Jerry Lane, George, has got a little bit of Tim McClellan in it.
Well, the reason why it kind of confuses me is he stands up, whether it's a ball or a strike, and then makes the call. Watch here. There. Stand up. Yep.
Nothing.
Now and then he'll throw out the right hand.
Now he's a little louder. You can hear him from up here.
You can?
Yeah. This is popped up to left field. Scott Hairston territory. One out. Let's check in again with Alana Rizzo with tonight's great Colorado Payback sideline report. Alana, what do you know?
I want to tell you guys a little bit more about the Padres. Really the roller coaster ride that this team has been on this season. You guys might remember they started the season winning 9 of their first 12. Well, then they dropped 19 of their next 23. Now they just finished a 10-game road trip, not 10-game road trip, but a 10-game playoff there where they won. I can't even talk today, you guys. Where they won 10 straight games before they lost on Tuesday.
I knew if I started laughing, I'd get you giggling.
All right, so I'm on a roller coaster in my head. But GM Kevin Towers, when asked by the media kind of to put the pulse on this team, he said, you know what, I'm not really sure I know what this team is all about. He said, I haven't quite figured them out, and really the rest of baseball hasn't figured them out either, so that's a good thing. He did say, though, that the one underlying theme throughout the entire year, really since opening day, is this team, the effort has always been there. Even when they haven't been performing well, it's the fight and the character that has made them get back on track. There, I got it out. I said it. Roller coaster. Here we go. Back to you.
All right, Clint Barmas gone on strikes. Now with our great Colorado Payback sideline report, let's go down to Alana Rizzo for take 2. Alana?
I can't get that out again, you guys. They're on a roller coaster. They're doing really well. They haven't always done really well this season. They're back on track. They have a big fight and good character in this team. There you go. That's take 2.
There you go. We got it. Thanks, Alana.
No problem.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Todd Helton coming up. Alana's right. I mean, they had the fabulous start. Get fouled. Wow. Hairston would have made that catch if not for the railing, which was well placed.
Well, what I like about that too is third base umpire Todd Teschner rounding all the way down the line to see if there's any fan interference whatsoever to go get this baseball. Ooh. I mean, is this hat out in front of it, out onto the playing field to prevent him from making the catch? Yeah, it looked like it got the rail, but it actually the guy kind of got out there in it, didn't he?
Todd, line drive glove by Epstein.
Second one in it tonight for Todd.
Another Adam ball, 1-2-3 inning for Chris Young. Todd Tischner, George, the other day threw everybody out of the ball game. You see that?
No.
Jeff, how about with George Frazier? I'm Drew Goodman. Yeah, it's starting to be contagious, huh?
Oh, boy.
Jim Tracy taking over today for Clint Hurdle. And the Rockies got their run in the second inning against Chris Young. Jason Marquis. First pitch is fouled off to Nick Hundley. Well, Frazier, you could be called a lot worse things than Jeff Hughes.
I have been.
In fact, you know what? That's a compliment. You know, as good a guy as Huey is. That's down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hundley grounded to third his first time up. Garrett Atkins made a nice play on a slow roller to his left. Slider misses, 2-1.
They're really trying to overemphasize, and you can see what Torrey Abbott has tapped himself on the shoulder to let him know, don't let the front shoulder fly early, because what happens is you get rotational on the slider. In other words, you pull in this area this way versus staying on top of it and pulling straight down on it. Tough play, strong arm.
Nice job. Real nice job by Garrett Atkins on the backhand side, and he got plenty on the throw to get Hundley 1 gone.
Well, try to backhand the baseball. The important thing, plant that back foot and get good and balanced, and then just rely on the arm.
Good stretch by Todd. That's why you don't stretch early.
You gotta stretch during the game a lot if you're Todd.
Well, yeah, good point. Tony Gwynn at the plate, base hit up the middle.
Well, it's got to be fun for him. I mean, to come back, his dad does some broadcast still for the San Diego Padres. Right now, tied up out in a college regional as coach of San Diego State University. But to have him come home and be a part of it, I actually got to break the news to him that he'd been traded to the Padres, to the big leagues.
Well, Tony got a call, and then he called his wife, called Chris Gwynn, who played in the big leagues, Tony's brother, and then called Little Tony and said, guess what, you're coming home. Here's a drag bunt. Marquis jumps on it. Did Todd make the catch? He did. I don't know how he found the baseball because it was in the same path as Tony Gwynn was running.
Well, I'm not sure why Tony Gwynn ducked his head.
How would he know it was coming?
Well, he obviously knows there's going to be a play coming at him, Drew, but I don't. How to know? You know when to duck it, like when to duck it. See right there, look at him duck.
Yeah, you're right.
If he keeps his head and shoulders up because he's running in the path. See if he doesn't duck right there. How's Todd catch the ball? He doesn't.
That is wild. How did he know
the first base coach go duck? I don't think so. I don't know why he ducked. Unless he just saw Todd's glove coming to catch the baseball, so then he ducked.
That could be the only explanation. Good play by Jason Marquis. Chris Burke grounded a short his first time on a hit and run. Padres acquired Burke from Seattle when Everett Cabrera, a Rule 5 selection of the Rockies organization, went down. And a nice pick there by Atkins. Good inning for Jason Marquis. 3 ground balls, albeit one of them was a bunt. Rockies ahead 1-0. Middle of 4.
Great guy. He's been with me, through the ups and downs, always supported me. It's a tough day for me. I can't speak for everybody. I'm sure it is, but I think we're a little bit surprised, but at the same time, we still have a lot of games left, and it's time to move on.
Now Troy Tulowitzki is due up 4th this inning. Troy, like a lot of guys, trying to get going offensively. Garrett Atkins line to third base. Very nice play. Robbing him of a hit by Kevin Kuzminoff. Rockies have the 1 hit. Torrealba was well timed after a couple of walks in the 2nd inning. And Seth Smith came around to score. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Young working to Garrett Atkins. So you wanted to look into what Jim Tracy was thinking in his first day filling out the lineup card, because this ball's hitting center field. Gwynn moving over and make the catch. The things that were noticeable for me is he slid Atkins back down in the cleanup spot. He's been struggling, but he's trying to show confidence in Atkins, saying you have to get going. This is where you should hit, especially Hop not in there. And the other noticeable thing with Tulowitzki struggling, George, even though Barmes hasn't torn the cover off the baseball, He dropped Tulowitzki to 7, and he slid Barmes into that 2-hole.
Well, Barmes maybe a little better bunter guy, hit and run guy. And that's typically what you want in that 2-hole, is a guy that can handle the bat a little bit. Maybe that's why he did it. You know, that's answers that only Jim Tracy could give us. But I think, too, by putting Garrett Atkins where he did, you know, for the last 3 out of 4 years, you've driven in 100 runs. Last year, 99 runs. Go do it. Here it is. You know, you give him a 7-day shot at it, see what happens.
Seth Smith pops it up down the third base line. This is a long run for Hairston.
What did he quit for? He quit on that ball.
He was worried about the lady with the hat, George. Time for our Affleck trivia question.
Yeah, he just pointed in the sky, didn't see it. Go ahead, Drew.
For which team did Jim Tracy play, and which future Hall of Famer's number did he wear? Now, if you're listening earlier, I gave the answer to this. Not the second part, the first part.
By the way, on that ball going over, I was looking at Harrison like, you know, he almost quit running on the baseball. And then as soon as he turned and looked at his shortstop, he reminded him, Burke, he said, I didn't see it. Lost flight of it. Kind of a funny sky here at Coors Field tonight, too, with the clouds moving in over the top of the stadium. Sam, that was just tremendous, tremendous camera work.
Two-1 on Smith, and this one's fouled off. 2-2. You know, the overall average for the Rockies against right-handers, not where it should be. Yeah, nothing offensively really is where it should be with Colorado so far. And this ball down the left field line. Hairston sees this one, but it's in the crowd. This is one of the few ballparks in baseball where left field is more challenging than right field. It's usually the other way around.
You know, that's one thing that's always confusing for me. And this goes back to the early days when I first came here. I shot right at it. Walker was probably the best outfielder I've seen play in a long time.
Sure.
Had a strong arm. Dante Bichette, God love him, he could hit the ball out of the ballpark, he get a lot of RBIs and do things. Just wasn't a great outfielder. I always wondered why they never flip-flop. Now, Larry always said it was difficult to take the fly to the ball in left field, that it was hard for him to get adjusted to it. And they let him play center field one time, he got hurt, so that wasn't going to happen anymore. But I always wondered why they didn't swing. Because shorter, even though they say that's a longer throw, in this ballpark it's a shorter throw than what it is out into the gaps here.
Tell you what Larry did better than anybody I've seen, in that he would deke runners on drives that were going to go off that scoreboard.
But why did they work? Because he was such a good outfielder.
Yeah.
You know, he got to so many balls. I mean, you can do all the dekes you want to do, but if you're not a good outfielder, everybody knows that. But with Walker was such a good outfielder that they didn't know if he was going to get to the ball or not. I mean, they're going, okay, is he really going to get to it or not? You know, is he going to be able to catch this thing?
2-strike count on Spilboards. And this is a ground ball to short. Burke gets rid of it in a hurry. 7 in a row set down by Chris Young. Rockies and Padres in a typical Chris Young's been very good. Jason Marquis's been very good. Affleck trivia question. New manager of the Rockies is Jim Tracy. For which team did Trace play? And which future Hall of Famer's number did he wear? We asked.
Wait, don't show the number. Hold on. Don't show the. Stop the duck. Stop the duck.
You can't stop the duck.
Okay.
He played for the Cubs for a couple of years. He wore number 23. And it was later immortalized by Ryan Sandberg. Here's Chris Young at the plate.
See, I was going to say 26. Billy Williams.
Yeah, but George, see, Billy was already done, so they wouldn't have handed him that number.
Well, yeah, maybe not. Well, okay.
Never mind.
It's going to break out something else, but doesn't count. Wayman Tisdale's number is retired. God rest his soul. What a wonderful person. We lost not too long ago to cancer. But he called Blake Griffin asking to take it out of retirement at OU, and they let Blake Griffin wear it.
Is that how that worked?
Yes. He called Wayman personally and asked if he could wear it. Wayman said, absolutely.
You know what?
What a great man. I tell you, he did a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he's from my hometown. He went to Booker T High School. But even though a great influence that Wayman had on the game of basketball in the NBA, he had a huge influence in the city of Tulsa and the north side of Tulsa within that community. He and a guy named Reuben Gant played in the NFL.
1-2, and gone is Chris Young, and Wayman Tisdale gone way too
44
early.
years old. Do you realize, Drew, how
tremendous musician, George.
Oh, jazz, unbelievable. We have a new BOK center in Tulsa that they built to compete a little bit with Oklahoma City, and seats 20-something thousand, 25,000 for basketball. And there was such a large turnout for Wayman throughout all the United States and really Europe and other places of hearts he touched, that they actually had his service at the BOK, and over 6,000 people attended.
Wow. In the air to deep left center field. Dexter Fowler's going to get there because he covers all ground that is on this side of the fence. So Giles skies to center. 2 outs. David Eckstein coming up. Time for tonight's quest. High-speed pitch. Chris Young, George, is topped out at 86.
Yep, 86 miles an hour. Again, this is a guy that, you know, you look at all the scouting reports and times you've written him up, 90, 91 miles an hour, but comfortably working at 86, working both ends of the strike zone. Jason Marquis has hit 92.
And we've seen
pretty
him
comfortably at 88 to 91.
And we've seen Marquis at 94 in previous outings, but you know it doesn't matter. He's getting guys out. Brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. And that fastball at 90. Right where it needs to be against David Eckstein.
Well, a lot of times you throw through the sinker. In other words, you overpower it by throwing at 94. You really reduce the velocity. You create more sink on the baseball than you do by trying to overthrow the baseball.
That was well received, George. You always follow how catchers handle pitchers. That was well received by your V.
Soft. Yeah. Soft. It carried up to the strike zone. They're not a big move, just a slight move.
Yeah, umpires aren't going to buy in if you lifted 6 inches. That's a good pitch. Good hard sinker.
See, and right now, and again, you mentioned this, Eckstein's the second toughest guy to strike out in the game. It has been for a long time. As a pitcher right now, you're not trying to get a strikeout, although he did in the first inning on a hard sinker under his bat. You're trying to get contact on the ground at somebody. Because what Eckstein can do to you as a pitcher, is extend that pitch count or that at bat. And go along with me on this. If he sees 7, 8, 9 pitches per at bat or 8 pitches per at bat, 4 at bats, that's 30-something pitches you've wasted on one guy. So you want to try to get it in the strike zone. That's obviously a little bit high and tight on the Hyundai cam, but you want to get it there to induce a ground ball out, to get him out of the lineup.
Line drive, base hit over Barmas's head. And Spilborghs will fire it back in. So Eckstein with a knock. He's been aboard twice, and that'll bring up Scott Hairston. You know, this is bear down time now for Marquis. A 1-run game with Adrian Gonzalez on deck.
See that slider there, Marquis disappointed, the high hop and the jump and the slap of the wrist because it was too good of a slider.
And this is popped up shallow center field. Dexter Fowler has got it. And Jason Marquis safely navigates the 5th inning. He's got a shutout going. 1-0 Colorado. Tulowitzki to lead it off. Ahead, brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. Padres in over the weekend. Then it's off to Houston, Texas for 4, St. Louis for 4, and Milwaukee for 3. It's an 11-game road trip, longest of the year. Troy Tulowitzki steps in. He takes strike 1 on the outside corner from Chris Young. Tulo, a walk in the second inning. 1, 2, 3 innings. In 3 of the 4 innings for Chris Young. He's retired 7 in a row. Gwynn going back will have room. And that'll bring up Yorvi Torrealba. Also a reminder that if your windshield has any damage, visit Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com.
Torrealba with a big base hit in his last at bat to drive in the only run in this ball game. Picked up an RBI. It was his 6th of the season. After a couple of walks by Mr. Young.
And Torrealba fouls off the first delivery. Bud Black is in the other dugout. Bud was very disappointed to hear about his friend Clint Hurdle losing his job earlier today. And it wasn't just manager speak, if you will. Keep in mind, a year ago when the All-Star game took place, look at this from Yorvi. That's going to be a base hit. I love it. I love it. Last guy you think's going to bunt, and Torrealba drags a bunt for a hit.
Yeah, I wonder why Young didn't even try to make a play on the ball. He just kind of ran by it all and let Kuzminoff take it, unless Kuz talked to him and told him to get away. He had it. See, watch when this ball's bunted. Young's going to make a move over on the baseball, and he just kind of gave it one glance and then let it go. Great move by Torrealba to get in first base. Pretty good hitting pitcher in Marquis.
Now to finish that story, when the All-Star game took place at Yankee Stadium, the Rockies, of course, coming off winning the National League pennant, Clint Hurdle's the manager. He puts the coaching staff together. Bud Black was on his coaching staff. He asked Bud Black to go to New York with him.
Appreciation, West Coast guy.
Marquis pulls it back, but the pitch was in for a strike.
Wells Fargo customers enjoy the Colorado Rockies baseball in style with a special Wells Fargo offer. That is the 2-for-1 club level seats. So what you do, you visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for all the details.
And a pitch out. 1-1. You know, a play I like here, George. I like the slug bunt here.
Yeah, well, or hit and run, because you got a guy who can swing the bat.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that, I think that's why Bud Black pitched out to see if he was still going to bunt. I mean, his hands slid up the bat. I think he did that so he could set the defense accordingly.
See, George, did Young go too early there to see a reveal?
Yeah, I think he did, because nobody was even in a box or anything. I mean, he's standing outside, so why do that? You know, make your move. When you make your move, it's got to be when everybody's set there.
And Marquis lays it down. It's a good bunt. Gonzalez to first. Look at Marquis get up that line. He didn't go into the, as you like to call it, George, the soft jog. Okay, I got my job. Got the job done.
Now, soft chop, force him to make a throw. Now, that's one thing about it. Force him to make the throw, because he may throw it out into right field, and you'll have second, third. If you're jogging, you're not going to have much success with it.
2 outs, runner at second for Dexter Fowler. Tonight's legendary performance play is brought to you by Cabot Woodstains. Kevin Kuzminoff with a couple of fine plays. Really rocks Garrett Atkins. No errors this year for Kuzminoff at third base. Only third baseman in the National League who can make that statement. See if Dexter can come through with 2 outs. Rockies have 2 hits. Torrealba owns them both. One was a bunt hit a couple of minutes ago. Fowler, a sharp ground ball to first, and a fly ball to left field. And he went around.
See, I found that some umpires will either make the call at home plate, or they'll just ask the guys on the bases to make the call because they're not comfortable making it. With a runner out at second, 1-0. Jerry Lane so chose to ask Tashner down at third, and he rang him up. And he did go around.
That miss. He's 2-1. You know, earlier I mentioned Todd Tishner last time. Read about him. He was throwing everybody out in the yard. Well, that was yesterday. He worked the Red Sox Twins game. He threw out both starting catchers and both managers in the 7th inning.
Well, he got tired of listening to everybody. I mean, who's he hear the most of? The catcher and the manager. So I'm tired of listening to all you guys. You're all gone. Everybody just go away. Tired of listening to you.
It's like having him over for dinner party. He said, guess what? I'm done.
Yeah.
You had dessert? Go.
Well, one was a play at the plate. Twins guy gone. Then it was balls and strikes with Veritek gone. And Gardner got tossed on the play at the plate, too. He was gone.
Terry had to go out.
And Terry had to go out, obviously, and then he had to go.
That's high 3-2.
I love Zambrano, though.
Oh, boy. He got 6
He throws the umpire out, too. You're gone. You want the ball? Oh, yeah, go get it. It's in left field. He tossed it.
He's got a
little hot head?
Yeah.
Just a little bit?
Here's the 3-2 on decks. Outside, ball 4. So Fowler to first. Torrealba's at second, and here comes Clint Barmas. Clint's 0 for 2, a fly ball to right field and a strikeout. That's in there for a strike. Rockies trying to extend their lead. It's like a game you see at Petco, George.
It is a game like you see at Petco. Very surprised by what we're watching here, and that is not a lot of big hits, not a lot of things happen, not a lot of base runners unless they get walked. The Rockies have been walked, I believe, 4 times now in the game. Make that 3 times in the ballgame. And they've gotten a couple of hits. Padres have out-hit the Rockies 3-2.
Fouled off. One and 2 on Barmas. Dexter started to go to second. He realized, whoa, I got to make sure the guy in front of me goes, and he slammed on the brakes.
Well, one thing about it, Hundley behind the plate's a very, very good block guy. I mean, he really blocks the ball well. He's quick to the ball after he's blocked it. A couple of times tonight he's handled that very well.
This ball is long gone but foul.
I wish he could have just waited just a second. Just a tick longer. And you got a 4-0 ball game.
Firestone leaderboard. Checking home runs by position. And behind the plate, the Rockies have 10 home runs. Second base, they have 8. Those are the days that Stewart started. Of course, Barmas has 5 home runs. I tell you, when Young misses tonight, George, and when we saw him in late April, he misses badly.
Really bad. Real ugly. Ew. Bad. Up high, like you're not going to swing at it.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 feet high,
Yeah,
or he throws 55-footers.
You're not going to swing at it where it's ended up all the time.
3-2, runners moving, and it's fouled back, and Clint was on that. The fastball out over the plate. Tell you what, if Barmy lines one in that left center field gap, he's going to have himself a triple.
Well,
There's enormous space between Gwynn and right center, and Hairston, who's playing more of a traditional left field.
Surprised by that a little bit. Particularly if you watch your catcher. If he moves inside, as he started to there, so that right knee come up, which is an indication he's probably going to go inside. If that's the case, as quick as Barmas is in, he's probably going to pull it. Probably not going to go opposite field.
And this is poked to center field. It's not going to get down. It was hit a little too well. And Gwynn makes the catch. Rockies had a bunt single from Torrealba, a walk to Fowler. Both
Watch Hundley go to the outside corner. Look where this pitch is. Right out where he wanted it. Now you see where the response was. Well, look right out here where Gwynn's playing. Pitch is going to be away. Typically going to drive the ball out to right field. Pitching to the defense. Young's done just that.
Adrian Gonzalez will lead it off in the top of the 6th inning. Gonzalez has walked twice, the second time intentionally, though the first time was pretty much intentional as well. Here's a sinker on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 on Adrian Gonzalez. He has appeared in 255 consecutive games for San Diego. One ball, one strike. A reminder to go to FSNinsider.com and check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. That's a good pitch, George. Good location with it. Slider away.
Yeah, both of these
up away. It's hard to tell on that.
Yeah, both of these pitchers have done a nice job. I mean, going into this inning, Marquis had 74 pitches, 44 strikes, 12 first pitch strikes out of the 21 batters faced. He's only had 6 3-ball counts, but he's worked his way through that. Young on the other side of that, 13 first pitch strikes. He's faced 20 batters, 302 counts. He's had some walks, 10 fly ball outs compared to 8 ground ball outs by Jason Marquis.
That's a great job by Barnes. You know what? Yeah, I mean, he knew that the chances of him getting leather on this ball were slim, but he's just going to bury his chest on it somehow, knock it down. Beauty of being on the right side, huh, George?
Yeah, really. You get a little more distance out there in front of you, about 140 feet, but that's just one of those, you know you're going to wear it, and you just hope you can keep it down and take it the best you can right out in front of you. Barnes able to do that, and then that snap throw to Helton at first base.
And again, that happens on the left side, especially a shortstop. Chances are the guys at first. A big first out. Adrian Gonzalez gone. Kevin Kuzminoff, ground ball to short, ground ball to second. Padres as a club hitting a whopping .237, yet they're game over 500. Their team ERA is .437. The opposition's is .380. But they have been sensational at Petco this year. They're 17-6 at Petco. Just 7-17 Frazier out on the road.
Well, not only that, I mean, you look at the their starting pitching of what they've done in that big ballpark compared to what it is out on the road. That's part of the big thing. There it is, 80 pitches, 48 strikes, 32 balls for Mr. Marquis.
And another ground ball. Atkins gathers himself, fires a strike to Todd Helton. Kuzminoff retired. 2 gone. Nick Hundley coming up. Let's visit again with Alana Rizzo. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Drew, thanks very much. Time now for our Excel Energy fun fact. Only 3 players in the Rockies starting lineup tonight have ever played for another manager other than Clint Hurdle. That would be Jason Marquis on the hill, your Vit Torrealba behind the plate, and as we mentioned earlier, Todd Helton. Now, Todd Helton is the only Rocky ever to have played for all 4 of the Rockies managers. Don Baylor is the one that called him up. Then he played for Jim Leyland, Buddy Bell, obviously Clint Hurdle, and now Jim Tracy, guys.
All right, Alana. Nick Hundley drops a single into right center field. That'll bring up Tony Gwynn. And that is interesting. You know, Todd goes all the way back to '97 and came up with Groove. And he was here for Leland. Leland wasn't here long. He's here for Buddy Bell. He obviously was here the entire time that Clint was here. Clint was his hitting coach initially.
By the way, you caught me off guard.
I did?
Yeah. You got to start putting the JR behind his name. You said Tony Gwynn's coming to the plate. I was like, oh, that's
Do you
not
get
Tony.
excited?
Well, I mean, you know, that is junior down there, not senior. He's only got about 3,400 more hits to go to catch that.
You know what? He's gonna have to do like Tulowitzki started doing a couple years ago, counting all the hits back to Little League and T-ball.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Tony's got a pretty good team this year with the Aztecs.
Well, he's pretty good on that first game. There's no question about it. Strasburg going to be the first pick in the draft. You know, it's read something in their clips today talking about how Grady Fuson said, I went to go watch him at Oregon, Utah.
Runner going, swung on, and a base hit for Glenn. And what kind of read was that at second base?
Well,
Nick Hundley spun around. He should have been at third.
I tell you what kind of read it was. In the basics of baseball, folks, you pick up your third base coach, you don't worry about where the ball is. And that's what you do. Glenn Hoffman, a very good, accomplished third base coach. Watch when this ball's hit. Why are you watching the baseball? Pick up your coach. There's no reason to look over to the right side to see where this ball is. It's where you're running. You look at third base, and Mr. Hoffman will tell you what to do. And it, you know, with 2 outs, a lot of things can happen. You go, well, he's going to score on a base hit anyway. It's going to be tough to score on a wild pitch on it. You know, a lot of different things can happen to get that run in with 2 outs other than a base hit if you're at third base.
And a ground ball up the middle that Tulowitzki gets to. And he throws to first to get Chris Burke. No problem for Jason Marquis. The shutout through 6. Inning, a 1-out walk to Smith. He was pushed to second with 2 outs on a walk to Tulowitzki, and Yorvik Torrealba singled up the middle. That's it for the Rockies. In fact, they have only 2 hits. Torrealba, a bunt single in the 5th inning.
Well, the important factor of all that, what is it? You're leading the ball game 1-0. And 1 base hit back up the middle after a couple of walks by Mr. Young. Helton has hit the ball hard twice, once to first and once at third base. 2 line drives for outs. Now second base, right side of the infield. How's that?
You're right. He's hit the ball hard twice. Last time he had the bat broken, but it was hit solid. As solid as you can when the bat gets broken. That's a strike on a breaking ball. Garrett Atkins will follow, and then Seth Smith. Todd's just 5 for 27 against Chris Young.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the last 2 at bats too.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like talking with Brian Giles earlier today in their locker room, and he made the comment. He said, you know, I come out of Coors Field, I hit like 4 balls line drives. I come out of there 5 for, you know, 18 or 20. And he said, I hit like 5 other balls right on the button, right at people. And he said, you know, I got base hit, same thing at Petco, where he said, I just crush a ball and it goes nowhere, or, you know, hit a line drive right at somebody. That's what's happened to Todd tonight.
Outside, 3 balls and a strike. And ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Helton. That was the 4th walk allowed by Chris Young. Well, I keep coming back to the same thing, George. When he misses, it's not close.
Not close at all. And Atkins has smoked the ball twice. Once to deep center field in the fourth. Back in the second inning, a line drive right at Kuzminov. A pitch count at 85. Bud Black starting to look over the sheets who to go to. And he's had some pretty good success out of his bullpen. There's Gregerson, Burke. Both done a nice job for him coming out of the bullpen.
This ball's hit well to center field, going back, Squin still going back, and at the edge of the track he makes the catch. So it's a long out off the bat of Garrett Atkins. One out. Seth Smith coming up. He's hit the ball hard on a couple of occasions tonight. Tell you how dominant Chris Young has been without necessarily having enormous win totals. Since the start of the 2006 season, the opposition has hit just .204 against Chris Young. That is better than any pitcher in the game. How about that? Starting pitcher. And this ball rifled foul.
See, here's a theory I'm having watching Young pitch right now. You know, we've seen a lot of 83, 84, 86 being the tops, right? What is typical bat speed 87 to 89 of a major league hitter? Get up into the low to mid 90s. Some guys have a tough time catching up to it. He's throwing it below bat speed. In other words, he's throwing it so underneath what they're normally used to seeing. So just out far enough, you get that fly ball a little shorter. They're just out far enough to soft line drive to center.
Well, you know, there are people in baseball that subscribe without great movement. You know, 88 to 94, 89 to 94, 93 gets smoked.
Gets crushed.
But yeah, 94, 95 and above, you know, the velocity.
If you put it where you want.
Right. The velocity kind of takes over. And then there's below hitting speed, and that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Down below to where guys are like just enough out on that front foot that they get it like a grain away from hitting it off the wall, or a pop fly to center field, or out on the front foot enough they hit the two-hopper right to shortstop.
When you play, and even now, hitters like, you know, they sit dead red. They don't mind a guy, hey, a power guy, he's coming after me. It's the guy that thumbs it up there, as they say.
Well,
they can't stand that.
Sink it, cut it, throw you a little breaking ball, particularly when they're behind in the counts. Darren Balsley, Balsley's done a nice job with this pitching staff.
2-1 on Smith. 3-1. Spilborghs is on deck. We're on the air tomorrow at 5:30 in the afternoon with the pregame show. Elton at first. He's going. Ball 4. Well, interesting. 3-1. Todd at first. A lot of confidence shown in Seth Smith's ability to get the bat on the ball.
Well, stay out of a double play, too. Put a guy in motion is what you're going to end up doing with it. You know, just kick that thing in motion, and then you stay out of the double play.
5 walks now.
How about this meeting on the mound right now? It looks a little comical, don't you? You got Burke at 6 foot, Eckstein at 5 foot nothing, and 6'11" looking down, going, okay, if it's hit back to me, which one of you guys want to take it?
Somebody give Eckstein a step ladder.
Yeah. Nothing against David. Don't get me wrong. 90 pitches right now, 51 strikes, 39 balls for Mr. Young.
Well, Spilborghs has played pepper with Chris Burke, the shortstop. He's 0 for 2. Rockies with 1 out, an opportunity to add on. They lead at 1-0.
Once on a high fastball on a hit and run. Remember that one up on top where he's kind of forced into a swing on a bad pitch, and then the next time was a slider down and away, just kind of hooked right at the shortstop.
That's a strike also. Now Spilborg's behind 0-2. Mujica warming up in the bullpen.
No, but he's one of those guys he could go to. Mujica or Gregerson would be one of those two guys. Oh,
yeah,
get
Gonzalez
there.
gets to it. And Eckstein didn't have a play at first. Wheeled naturally to third to see if Helton took too wide a turn.
Well, smart play by Burke at second not to try to flip that ball over. Because Eckstein had gone over to make a play on the ball into the hole. So Burke came back to take the ball from Gonzalez. See, watch Eckstein. When this ball's hit, he's going to cut over. So as he goes over to back this play up, and they get that runner at second base, he ate the baseball because Young's not quite there yet. Not comfortable, obviously, with a runner going into third base. Do you want to take a gamble and try to hit that moving object going to first base? Now you got a 2-0 ball game versus 1.
Now an opportunity for Troy Tulowitzki. 0 for 1 and a walk. And Thatcher also throwing.
Well,
you know what, now it's Meredith now.
Meredith and the only left-hander, Thatcher, down in their bullpen.
And San Diego's never been big on having a bunch of lefties. They've gone years, George. Remember, where they didn't have any lefties.
Well, but the guys they had, Linebrink and that bunch to set up, they didn't really need one. You know, I mean, their 7th and 8th inning guys were fantastic.
When they had Otsuka?
Yeah, Otsuka. Where'd he end up going?
I was just when you said that, Alkanori Otsuka, didn't he go to Texas or? Check on that. Here's Tulowitzki. Ball 1 on Troy. Rockies is 9-16 inside their division. Shockingly 7-13 at home. 0-3 on this homestand. The Dodgers swept them. Dodgers swept them despite walking in the mid-20s in a 3-game series. That's unbelievable. And not only did they sweep them, none of the games were really close except for the rally in the 9th inning, George, on Wednesday.
Yeah, that was the only one that was halfway close. Gave them an opportunity there when they came back and made it an 8-6 ball game. All due to the walks of Jonathan Broxton. Walked 3 in that inning.
And he's 7 walks all season coming in. You know, that affected him, that close to 40 pitch inning. Broxton wasn't available yesterday for the Dodgers. They had to hung in. Troncoso pitched the final 2 innings and they won 2-1 at Wrigley Field. 3-0 now on Tulowitzki with Yorvi Torrealba, who's been the hitting star tonight for the Rockies. He's on deck. Rockies have 2 hits. Yorvi has them both. One was a bunt single. Ball 4. That's 6 walks by Young.
And pretty frustrated at home plate, too, with Jerry Lane. I mean, he threw up. That's one of the few times I've seen him show emotions like that. He just threw up his arms. Watch this after the pitch. The Tulowitzki wanting to know where it was. I mean, it's just like, where do I got to throw this thing? It's like a major conference right now, Drew, and everybody's standing around. They're all standing around. They go, I think we should throw it to the big guy in the middle and let him shoot. Oh, no, just kidding. Trying to figure out a way to get out of this inning with the bases loaded because Torrealba base hit up the middle on a fastball and then laid the bunt up to third base line.
George, I just added up the walks. 24 in the Dodgers series, 6 tonight by Chris Young. The Rockies have received 30 free passes in 3.5 ball games.
Well, I think I figured in the Dodgers series only 4 of those 24 scored.
But exactly, Fraser, the Rockies have scored 14 runs in 3.5 ball games. 14 runs, and they've had 30 freebies. That's hard to do.
Very hard to do.
See if Torrealba can come through again. Hard on the ground, but it's under the glove of Kuzminov. 1 run is scored. Here comes Spilborgs. Play to third, safe there. Going to second's Torrealba. That may be the first error of the year on Kevin Kuzminov.
That is the first error. He had led all National League shorts, or third baseman, with no errors at the start of this season. And I don't know how it couldn't be an error because it was not that difficult of a play for Kuzminov at third base. He made the pitch to get out of the inning. Torrealba, high fastball with a little sink to it. And here's 1, 2 hops, and it just went under the glove and into the outfield. of Kuzminoff, and 2 runs come in and make it a 3-0 ball game.
That is the first error of the year for Kevin Kuzminoff, and what a time for it.
Now, the one thing this club did not do during that stretch of winning 10 out of 11, they did not make those type of errors. They made those plays.
Two-strike count on Jason Marquis. Strike 3 on Marquis. In the inning, there were 3 walks and an error, and the Rockies scored 2 runs. No hits in the
like freeze cam, and tonight you're going to emphasize what Torrealba has done behind the plate. See how far he reaches out to catch this baseball. You can look now as the ball approaches. He's got to extend the arm out to receive it. If he takes it back here into the strike zone, it's going to be farther down because of the flight of the baseball and the sink at the very end. That was the Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze cam.
Yeah, the Rockies have benefited the most when Torrealba's been at the plate. Base hit to score a run early in the ball game, and then he hit a ground ball to third. Should have been the final out of the inning with the bases loaded. It went under the glove of Kevin Kuzminoff. 2 runs scored, and the Rockies now enjoy a 3-0 lead. Kuzminoff, who had been flawless defensively all year, last guy in the National League among regular third basemen to commit an error. Chase Headley is the pinch hitter for Chris Young. 9-1-2 now in the Padre lineup. Jason Marquis rolling along. Hard on the ground, a base hit for Headley. So the Fountain Fort Carson product with a knock leading things off in the 7th inning. And that'll bring up Brian Giles. Giles is 1 for 3. Ryan also ground ball to second, a fly ball to center field, and he takes strike one. Ja's last 17 days hitting close to 300, and he's behind 0-2. You know, guy's got a lot of years of service in, a lot of years of hitting around 300. The joke, as he was, George, to you and I before the ball game, saying, "Yep, got the average up to $190."
Yeah, and again, was very honest through his conversation, saying that you know, I've hit so many balls hard, I've been able to make some solid contact. It's just cost me. He talked about the series here, where I think he said he was like 5 for 18 or something. There were 4 of the balls hit hard. He said it could have been 9 for 18, but it wasn't. And you know, as I mentioned to you over the years, their numbers will come out. What they are. There's Flores and there's Corpus. Getting loose for the Rockies.
That's strike 3. Brian just sticking around at home plate, not real pleased with Jerry Lane's strike zone.
Huh. Giles very good at reading the pitch and where the pitches are. I can see why he's probably a little grumpy about that. On the overhead, you can see why. That ball about 3 or 4 inches off the plate and on the outer corner, but you take the punch out where you can.
6 strikeouts in the ball game for Marquis. Jason looking for his 7th win of the year. Eckstein at the plate, and this could be 2, should be 2. Very nice for 6-3 on the turn, and Marquis is through the 7th. Stretch time at Coors Field. Colorado leading the Padres 3-0. Fowler to lead off. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies ahead 3-0. Dexter Fowler, Clint Varmus, Todd Helton to face Joe Thatcher. And this call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Fowler's 0 for 2. He walked in the 5th inning. And then he fouls his pitch off. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Alana Rizzo at the ballpark tonight. On a day where the Rockies have made a managerial change, first time since early in the 2002 season. Clint Hurdle relieved of his duties earlier, and Jim Tracy taking over for the remainder of the 2009 season. And right next to him, Tommy Runnels, TR, as most people call him in the organization, manager of the Colorado Springs Sky Sox the last couple of years. He's the bench coach now. 1-2 outside, 2-2. Well, when the Rockies relieved Buddy Bell of his post as the manager of the Rockies back in early 2002 when Clint took over, Rockies won 6 straight. And George, quite frankly, they need that kind of run to get back somewhere in the vicinity of 500. 10 games under.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They've got to get out and start to play better baseball. They're doing it against Padres here. You're going to have a tough road trip because you're heading out to Houston, St. Louis, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's playing pretty good baseball. St. Louis obviously playing very good baseball. And when you go to Houston, you don't know what you're going to get there. They won tonight at Pittsburgh 6-1.
You know, right now they're in the cellar in the Central, 19-27 after their win this evening. Pirates are a game ahead of them. For Houston, George, that win snapped a 7-game losing streak.
Well, you know, and I just know that the Rockies at times have had a difficult time playing there. Hey, follow the Colorado Rockies on your iPhone or iPod Touch with MLB.com at BAT 2009, featuring play-by-play, the real-time box scores, and video highlights. Visit ColoradoRockies.com on your iPhone or iPod to touch to purchase.
Barmes, and if he avoids the tag, which he did, he'll be safe. Adrian Gonzalez picked it up, tried to sweep tag, and the diving slide by Clint Barmes. And the Rockies have a runner aboard with 1 out in the 7th.
Well, watch the play here by Barmes. He's going to get to this outside, realizing it's going to have to be a long tag. And instead of trying to arch the back and avoid it, he slid all the way around it. A little bit of an enthusiastic clap and a fist pump by Barmes to know that what he tried to pull off worked. Good hustle, Clint Barmes.
3rd hit for the Rockies, folks. They're up 3-0. 2 of the hits bunt hits. Torrealba has a clean single up the middle, a bouncing baseball, mind you, but I mean, he hit it fairly hard. He has a bunt single, talking about Torrealba, and now Barmes' bunt single. That's it in the ball game. Chris Young went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, only 1 of which was earned. 2 hits, 6 walks. That didn't help him. And 2 strikeouts. Well, 2 lineouts in the ball game and a walk. There goes Barmes, swung on and missed. The throw goes to the right side of the bag, or shortstop side of the bag, and Barmes has a stolen base. So with 1 out, he's in scoring position for Clint, his 4th bag of the year.
Big jump right here off the left-hander, and then a pitch that swung on by Helton and missed. A lot of times that could cause a catcher to get a little bit off with his throw, and the left-handed bat. That was on the shortstop side, and a steal for Clint Barmes.
One and 2 on Todd. 2-2. 3-2. And Help pops it up. Adrian Gonzalez will make the play. That's 2 outs.
Let's see if Bud Black, late in the game, already down 3-0, even though Atkins is hitting what he's hitting. He has 195, but he's hit the ball hard 3 times. See if they go ahead and put him on. Yeah, thought he would. And they go left on left with Smith. Now see if Jim Tracy will counter and go with Merton at the plate as a right-handed bat. In place of Seth Smith, or let Seth hit left-handers, which he hits lefties pretty well.
You're up 3-0. You just have Smith hit again. Smith hangs in there against left-handed bats. You know, we'll start to get a read over a period of time on how Jim Tracy wants to work the talent he has. And he said in his press conference, it's not going to differ greatly from what Clint Hurdle was doing. I mean, there's no magic potion.
Well, I think when a club has struggled offensively, one thing you can do as a manager, obviously, if they can steal first base, is then do the hit and run, bunt and run, steal a base, try to do things to create holes defensively so those ground balls get through versus getting into a double play type situation. And Bud Black, with his offense, has tried to do that. Jim Tracy may try to do that here. We've seen a hit and run. We've seen the bunt for a base hit. We've seen a stolen base in this ball game. And he's going to go to Merton and play the numbers because left-handed off of the bench later, you said Hop was healthy enough to play today. He could use Hop in that situation. It's a pretty easy switch here because Quintanilla could go and play short. Barmas over to third now. He's got more speed at first base right now.
Quintanilla plays second.
Or second, I mean. I'm sorry. It's second.
Tulo plays short, obviously.
Yeah, and put Barmas at third base. Although Quintanilla played third the other night.
And now Bud Black is going to make a move. Jerry Lane walked over in case he was making a double switch. He is not. We'll step aside. The Rockies leading 3-0. They have a couple of runners on with 2 outs in the 7th. Dealers, and this May's only Hyundai can say sales event. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. And by Burt Toyota, where the Tacoma is only $23,276. Lower downtown is very busy tonight. Not only this ball game at Coors Field, but obviously Game 6 between the Lakers and Nuggets across the way at Pepsi Center, and it has not gone well for Denver tonight. They trailed by 18 in the fourth quarter, and now 19 with less than 5 minutes to play. And honestly, and we've tried to keep abreast of this during commercials, George. I'm shocked. I really thought they'd come out and play really well on their home floor tonight. So that is disappointing. Unless something changes dramatically, it looks like the Lakers are going to take out the Nuggets in 6. And having done their games for 10 years, been around that organization for a long time, it's the first time, I think, for a lot of people where it felt like, you know what, the Nuggets really, really have a chance to win the whole thing this year. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to come up a little short. And it's always the Lakers. Burton drives one to center field. Glynn will have room, and he makes the catch. So Matt Burton hits the fly ball to center field, and we're through to the 8th inning. 3-0 Colorado.
He and I have had continuous conversations, Drew, about our club and, you know, the lack of being able to get to an identity of how we play the game. And so when we sat down this morning at my home and just talked about things in general, it really wasn't a long conversation because, you know, we kind of knew we were at that point. And I think that when you really have good relationships and open, honest communication with people, when you get to that point, you know you're at that point. And Clint knew we were at that point when we sat down.
And again, the news of the day with the Colorado Rockies, Omar Quintanilla is now playing third base for Garrett Atkins. They left Barmes at second. The news of the day, Clint Hurdle relieved of his duties. Matt Merton in left field as manager of the Rockies since late April of 2002. Jim Tracy takes over. It's not an interim tag. Tracy will be the manager through the 09 season, and then as the Rockies and most organizations do at the conclusion of every year, they evaluate their entire staff. Adrian Gonzalez now up with 1 out. Hairston bounced to Quintanilla to begin the inning. Jason Marquis has been marvelous. In a word, he's been marvelous all year. He's had 2 subpar starts. Other than that, George, he has pitched really at an all-star caliber.
There's no question about it. I mean, he had a couple of hiccups on this thing, but everything else has been really, really well for him. He's kept the ball down, kept his team in games, and to win 7 ball games on a team that has, you know, quite honestly, folks, won 18 ball games. Pretty big accomplishments. This would be 19 at this point. Hey, look for the perfect place to entertain. Coors Field Suites, the party facilities, picnic areas. They offer a unique atmosphere designed to fit any event in any budget. Be sure to ask about the buy one, get one offer. 303-312-2444. The same 2 warming up in the Rockies bullpen in case Marquis happens to get deep into this game or get into trouble. That is Manny Corpus and Randy Flores. The pitch is sitting right at 100, folks. 60 strikes, 40 balls.
One out and one on. Kuzminov, who's had a tough night, 3 ground outs, 0 for 3, and then a very costly error that allowed 2 runs to score for the Rockies in the 6th inning. Bob Apodaca is going to go out and check on Marquis. I imagine the first question is, are you tired?
Well, when you go out into this deal, typical first thing out of the mouth is, are you okay? Got enough left in the tank? And a lot of times, veteran guys will look right at a pitching coach and say, I got it handled, all right? That gives you that confidence of where you think it should be and where you're going. See the numbers here on Mr. Marquis, and looking at it in the first inning, couple of innings, you see that at 3.50, the average of the opposition. But where it really kicks back in again, it's good. Look right down here, 3.8 coming through on it. Second, third time through, he's been able to handle it. Gets stronger as the game goes.
One and one. Rockies ahead 3-0. Marquis working in the 8th inning. 2-1. Rockies and Padres will play a 4-game series out at Petco right after the All-Star break this year. Rockies have won 3 of 5 against San Diego this year. Torrealba just pointing his glove at Marquis as if to say, hey, good pitch. He smells the finish line. Well, Rockies looking for 5 more outs.
You know what? You don't have to make the perfect pitch. Just make a pitch. And you've heard me say that over the years, Drew. Make a pitch, not a perfect pitch, to get out of this inning. Just like that.
Just like that. Chance for 2. There's one on to first. Low throw. And Helton comes up with it. And the Rockies get a double play to help out Jason Marquis, who's induced a great number of ground balls tonight again. He's on his Baseball on FSN is brought to you by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money, and by Tough Shed. Storage buildings and garages, call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit them online at toughshed.com. Now, the story of the day, the removal of Clint Hurdle as manager of the Rockies. The story of this ball game has been the pitching of Jason Marquis. Rockies have 3 runs on 3 hits. Only one of their runs is earned, is what I'm trying to say, and having trouble doing that.
Well, he talked to Alana in the break.
Oh, that's not nice.
Not like that fun. Come on.
She's not going to talk to you for a week now.
That's yes, she will.
Here's Houston Street.
Drew, now you know how I feel, Drew. Exactly. It's hard to spit it out sometimes, isn't it?
You know what? It is. I know that feeling.
You know, sometimes.
Hey, Lana, don't talk to George the rest of the week.
Hey, you know what? Just think about this. No, she likes the Yankees. Now think about this. You wonder how many words you might say during a telecast? Could be a couple thousand?
Probably more than people wish I'd say.
Couple of thousand, like 2,500? Bound to say something wrong.
This is on the ground, deep short. On the backhand, Burke knocks it down, flips it up in the air. And I think it's going to be an infield hit for Spilborghs. George, that is the 4th hit for the Rockies. 2 bunt hits, an infield hit, and a bouncing ball through the middle of the diamond.
And honestly, right now, I'm hoping that I'm wrong. See the backhand here by Burke. What are you going to throw him out anyway? What did I say? I said the Padres will out-hit the Rockies, but the Rockies will win the game. Remember that? Play the tape back.
You did say that.
I did. I mean,
but you know what? It's still going to be. I wouldn't.
And I did take the Lakers.
Celebrate just yet. It's 6-4. Look
well,
at
I understand that. Well, I did. I mean, wait a minute. I did it. I said it. I'm sorry. I did. But I wish the Nuggets would won. I'd like to have seen them in the finals. I really would.
I'll tell you what. I'm shocked by the outcome at the Pepsi Center. I mean, it's a blowout over there. Never in a million years did I think that would occur. Great run. Tip your hat to the Nuggets.
You bet. No question about it.
Great run. A lot of excitement here the last couple of weeks in town for the NBA. And it's been a long time since we were talking NBA basketball in our town in May.
Fans, make sure you stop by one of the dugout stores. And remember, right now, it's a pretty cool place. You get your tickets there. But one thing that's going on there, you can help celebrate Helton's 2000th career hit. So be sure to stop by 832-TEAM, 303-832-TEAM for information on all the store locations.
2-0 on Tulowitzki. Billy at first, nobody out. Clay Meredith, third pitcher utilized by Bud Black in this affair. And hard on the ground to third. Kuzman off to second for one. Eckstein to first, and it's a 5-4-3 twin killing. Time for our Nissan momentum shift to the ball game. Well, the Rockies had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and the pitch to Torrealba is hit on the ground. Kevin Kuzmanoff, who has not made an error all year till that play. 2 runs come around, and the Rockies all of a sudden went from up 1-0 to ahead 3-0. That's our momentum shift to the game, brought to you by Nissan. Get to the Nissan National Tent Event for great deals on reliable vehicles. And on cue, here's Torrealba taking strike 1. The Street's getting loose, George. You send Marquis out there again, or you let Houston finish it off?
Well, he's got 100+ pitches. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals. It's 3-0 right now, and I think it's up to Marquis to tell you whether he's got gas in the tank. If he does, let him go out there. He's a veteran, should be able to tell you that. Or will it be
by Southwest Airlines. Southwest has low fares with no hidden fees, where what you see is what you pay. By Comcast Digital Home Phone Service, warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And by Mike Shaw, Chevy Saab, Colorado's crossover and SUV headquarters for 50 years. Visit MikeShawAuto.com. Rockies up 3-0 on a beautiful night at Coors Field. And they're looking for the final 3 outs. They're asking Houston Street to deliver those. But before we get to Houston Street, we have a post-game report to tease. And here's Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, Drew, yep, coming up on the postgame, we'll talk a little Trace ball. We'll tell you about Jim Tracy's first game managing the Rockies. On the mark, Jason Marquis, another stellar outing. I'm sure we'll hear from the pitcher. And the 700 club, if the Rockies can hold on, they'll have their 700th home win ever in this game tonight. That's coming off the postgame report. Let's go back up to the booth, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. A lot to do on the postgame report, obviously, tonight. Jim Tracy in his Rockies managerial debut, 5 years manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, 2 years the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Trying to get this ship turned around. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, Jason Marquis. George was 7 2/3 in his last outing at Detroit. And tonight he goes 8 innings of shutout baseball.
I said on the keys of the ballgame, I thought having Marquis there after the firing of Clint Hurdle, a new manager coming in, if you needed this veteran out on the mound to be able to kind of carry this ball club through this thing and give him a chance to win, well, he did just that. Marquis delivered big time.
And Houston Street will face Nick Hundley to begin things. And the first pitch in there for a strike. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. The number to call, 800-COMCAST. Street's been terrific after a slightly bumpy first 10 days of the season. And he's quickly ahead 0-2 on Nick Hundley. For Houston, he'll be looking for his 8th save of the year. And this ball, a soft liner to shortstop. Tulowitzki has it. 1 out. It's time for the Home Depot doing more on defense. Well, Jason Marquis brings the whole package to the yard, not just his ability to pitch. He can hit and he can defend. And that's the Home Depot doing more on defense as he throws out Tony Gwynn Jr. And Tony Gwynn Jr. is now at the plate with 1 out in the 9th inning. ...13 straight scoreless outings for Houston Street, looking for 14. And he has that pitch in there for a strike.
Well, the one thing he's done is just pound the strike zone with good velocity, late sink on the fastball, the last at 92 miles an hour. But the aggressive nature of what he's done and how he's done it, I think that's why you see the results.
That looked like a strike also. We're going to wait. Nope, Jerry Lane stood up. George, no pump of the right arm.
Well, you know, Tony Gwynn Jr. could always turn around and go, my dad was a good hitter and you wouldn't have called it on him. Come on, like father, like son.
Yeah, would that work?
No, I don't think so.
On one hop, Barnes throws out Gwynn. Chris Burke, the last hope for the Padres. At the knees for a strike on Burke. He's hit it on the ground 3 times. Really smart game pitched tonight by Jason Marquis, George. You know, he passed early in the game twice on Adrian Gonzalez.
Well,
he got Kuzma, he got Kuzminoff behind him. It really was a game pitched with a high IQ by a veteran guy.
Just making a pitch when he had to make a pitch to get out of it. All right, I'll pass on this guy. I'll get the sinker here. I'll work my way through an inning. stay out of the middle of the ballpark.
Here's the 0-2 on Burke, and it's a short hop on Tulowitzki, and he fires to first. And in the initial ball game, in the Jim Tracy regime, the Rockies win it in shutout fashion, 3-0. Marquis goes 8. An impeccable 9th inning from Houston Street for his 8th save, and the Rockies have their 3rd shutout win of the year, and they snap a 3-game slide and win the baseball game 3-0 tonight over the San Diego Padres. Again, the final 3-0 Colorado. Stick around. A lot to do tonight on our Rockies.